5 Secrets You Should Never Share, Stoic Philosophy's Warning. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that feels more critical now than perhaps at any other point in human history: the power and peril of information. Specifically, the information you hold, the details of your life, and why sometimes the safest thing you can do is keep certain things entirely to yourself. We live in an era of unprecedented connectivity. Social media, instant communication, the constant hum of digital existence, it's woven into the fabric of our daily lives. And with this connectivity comes a subtle but profound shift in how we perceive privacy. The lines between public and private have blurred, perhaps permanently. We're encouraged to share, to be authentic by broadcasting our experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, our possessions. It feels normal, even necessary to put our lives on display. But what if this modern impulse, this constant outpouring of personal data, isn't just innocuous background noise? What if, without realizing it, you are systematically dismantling your own safety net? History is littered with tales of downfall brought about by misplaced trust or careless words. Kingdoms have fallen, fortunes have been lost, and lives have been irrevocably altered because sensitive information landed in the wrong hands. But where historical threats might have required spies, eavesdroppers, or physical infiltration, today's threats are often far more passive, widespread, and disturbingly effective. We volunteer the intelligence ourselves. Every status update, every tagged photo, every casual comment online, or even in certain real-world conversations can be a piece of a larger puzzle. A puzzle malicious actors are eager to complete. Think about it. The people who pose the greatest threat aren't always the obvious villains lurking in shadows. More often, they are opportunistic, they are patient, and they are masters of observation, sifting through the vast amount of personal data freely available online or even gathered through seemingly harmless interactions. Your openness, celebrated by society, becomes their entry point. Your desire for connection or validation becomes a vulnerability to be exploited. This isn't about descending into paranoia. It's about cultivating a mindful awareness of the landscape we inhabit. It's about understanding that information is currency, and not everyone who encounters yours has your best interests at heart. It's about reclaiming control in a world that constantly pushes you to relinquish it. Today, we're going to explore 5 specific categories of information, 5 secrets that require the utmost discretion. These aren't hypothetical dangers. They are real risks that individuals face daily, from financial ruin to psychological manipulation, and yes, in extreme cases, physical harm. By protecting these 5 areas, you build a more robust defense around your life. And this is where ancient wisdom becomes surprisingly relevant. The Stoic philosophers, figures like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, lived in worlds vastly different from our own. Yet, their teachings on self-mastery, discernment, and focusing on what is truly within our control offer a powerful antidote to the perils of modern oversharing. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or isolated. It's about building an inner citadel, a fortress of character and judgment that external forces struggle to penetrate. It teaches the value of silence, not as absence, but as presence of mind, the power of privacy, not as secrecy, but as self-possession. So stay with me. Don't skip ahead. Every minute of this video is designed to empower you with the knowledge and the mindset needed to navigate the complexities of the information age safely. If safeguarding yourself and your loved ones resonates with you, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Join our community dedicated to applying timeless wisdom to modern challenges. Let's begin with the first secret that demands your silence. 1. Exercise utmost discretion regarding your personal financial circumstances. In our consumer-driven culture, talking about money is often fraught with contradictory impulses. We're told it's impolite to discuss salaries, yet simultaneously bombarded with messages equating wealth to success and happiness. Social media amplifies this, turning financial milestones into public spectacles. A new car, a lavish vacation, a home purchase, these are paraded online, not just as personal achievements, but as markers of status intended to elicit admiration and envy. What many fail to grasp is that these public displays don't just attract congratulatory comments, They attract attention from those looking for opportunity. Consider the simple act of announcing a significant purchase or financial gain. Posting pictures from a recent luxury trip while you are still on that trip is a direct advertisement that your home is currently vacant and likely contains valuables. Mentioning a large bonus or a significant inheritance, even in casual conversation among acquaintances, signals that you have access to funds. Sharing details about becoming debt-free, while a commendable personal achievement, tells potential predators that you have disposable income or assets that aren't tied up in liabilities. This isn't just about protecting yourself from direct theft, although that's a significant risk. Financial oversharing also makes you a target for sophisticated scams, phishing attacks tailored to your apparent wealth level, and even manipulative relationships. People with malicious intent often profile their targets. They look for individuals who appear to have resources but perhaps lack the high-level security of the ultra-rich. You, with your moderately valuable assets and accessible online footprint, become an ideal mark. They aren't breaking into Fort Knox. They're targeting the person who just posted about their new home theater system. The psychological drive to share financial success is often rooted in a need for external validation. We work hard, achieve something, and crave recognition for it. We want our efforts to be seen and applauded. Social media platforms are explicitly designed to capitalize on this desire, rewarding displays of success with likes and positive comments. But this craving makes us vulnerable. It nudges us towards sacrificing our privacy for fleeting social affirmation. This is precisely where Stoic philosophy offers a powerful counter-narrative. Stoicism teaches us to find contentment and worth internally, independent of external opinions or possessions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminds himself that external things, wealth, reputation, praise, are indifferent. They cannot add to or subtract from his inner virtue, which is the only true good. Applying this today means recognizing that your financial stability is a tool for living a virtuous life, perhaps allowing you to practice generosity or secure your peace of mind, but it is not a measure of your worth as a person. Seeking validation by displaying wealth is an external dependency, placing your emotional state in the hands of others. Seneca spoke often on the dangers of external attachments and the wisdom of being content with what is sufficient. He would likely view the modern compulsion to flaunt wealth as a form of servitude to public opinion and material possessions. The Stoic ideal is one of quiet confidence, where your security and self-worth are derived from your character and your control over your own mind and actions, not from the approval you gain by displaying your bank account balance or luxury items. The practical Stoic approach to financial information is simple: discernment. Ask yourself, who truly needs to know this? What is the virtuous reason for sharing this information? If the answer involves seeking praise, generating envy, or simply broadcasting details out of habit, the Stoic response is restraint. Cultivate the strength to enjoy your financial stability or success privately, or only with a very small, trusted circle. Learn to deflect invasive questions gracefully. Instead of stating figures, use vague but polite responses like, "I'm comfortable," or "things are stable." Celebrate milestones with substance, not just show, perhaps by enjoying the fruits of your labor privately or using your resources to help others rather than merely documenting the expenditure for public consumption. Privacy regarding your finances isn't secrecy born of shame. It's power born of prudence. It keeps you off the radar of criminals, reduces your exposure to manipulation and jealousy, and aligns with the Stoic principle of valuing internal well-being over external spectacle. Treat your financial life like a private garden. Tend it carefully. Allow entry only to trusted few, and don't feel compelled to broadcast its blooms to the entire neighborhood. 2. Refrain from announcing your real-time location or travel plans. The second critical secret to guard is your physical presence: where you are, where you're going, and when you'll be away. The internet and smartphones have made location sharing incredibly easy, almost second nature. Check-ins at restaurants, geotagged photos from scenic spots, posts declaring, "Just landed in Cancun." These are common practices, driven by a desire to share experiences and connect with others. Yet they are also direct invitations to those who would wish you harm. The danger here is stark and immediate. Announcing you are on vacation, especially in real time, is effectively putting a "Rob Me Now" sign on your front door. Burglars have become adept at using social media as a reconnaissance tool. They don't need to stake out your house for days, they just need to follow your public profiles. Photos from a distant beach confirm you're not home. A series of posts from different cities maps out your absence. Even seemingly innocent check-ins at your gym, office, or favorite coffee shop can help someone establish your routine, making it easier to know when you're likely to be away from home or in a predictable location. But the threat isn't limited to property crime. Sharing your routine whereabouts can expose you to stalkers, harassers, or individuals seeking confrontation. If someone knows you walk your dog in the same park at the same time every evening, they have a clear opportunity to intercept you. If they know you're home alone every Tuesday night, they know when you are most vulnerable. This isn't about living in fear of every stranger. It's about understanding that broadcasting your movements removes the element of unpredictability, which is a powerful deterrent to those with ill intent. The underlying psychology driving location oversharing often stems from a need for external validation and a desire to project an image of an exciting, well-traveled, or socially active life. We want others to see that we are doing things, going places, experiencing life. This desire for external affirmation can override common sense and personal safety instincts. We prioritize presenting a curated image over maintaining a secure reality. Stoicism confronts this impulse directly through the principle of focusing on what is within our control. While you cannot control the actions of others or the existence of threats in the world, you can absolutely control what information you release about your own movements. Epictetus, in the Enchiridion, advises distinguishing between things within our power, our thoughts, judgments, desires, aversions, and things outside our power, our bodies, possessions, reputation, and the actions of others. Your physical location and safety, while influenced by external factors, are significantly impacted by the information you choose to share. By controlling this information flow, you exert control over a critical aspect of your safety. The Stoics also valued premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This practice involves contemplating potential misfortunes, not to dwell in anxiety, but to prepare the mind and reduce their impact if they occur. In a modern context, this means considering the potential negative consequences before hitting post on a location update. What is the worst-case scenario if someone with bad intentions sees this? By calmly considering this, you engage reason, a core Stoic virtue, rather than acting impulsively on the desire for validation. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us to find contentment in the experience itself, not in the act of displaying the experience to others. Enjoying a beautiful sunset or a delicious meal doesn't require an audience for it to be meaningful. The value is in the moment, the gratitude you feel, the connection with companions if you are with others. The need to immediately broadcast it is an external craving, a dependency on the likes and comments that follow. By cultivating the Stoic mindset, you train yourself to appreciate the internal richness of your experiences, diminishing the urge to seek external validation by revealing your whereabouts. Practically, this means delaying your sharing. Post photos from your vacation after you have returned home. Share that scenic hike or dinner spot the next day or even later. Disable automatic geotagging on your photos and posts. Be mindful of what is visible in the background of your pictures. Street signs, landmarks, or even the specific architecture of your home can give away your location. Discuss your travel plans only with truly trusted individuals, and ideally not until you have already departed or returned. Make your routines less predictable where possible, and absolutely do not share them publicly. Protecting your location isn't about living in fear, it's about exercising prudent control over your information footprint. It's about recognizing that your physical safety is paramount and choosing discernment over the fleeting gratification of public display. Like a Stoic sage guards their inner peace, guard your external movements by keeping them private. 3. Maintain silence regarding your personal security measures. The third secret you should fiercely protect relates to how you defend your personal space and assets. This includes information about your home security system, whether you have one, what type it is, where cameras are located, what kind of locks you use. It also extends to other security measures, such as owning a dog, having specific routines for checking your home, or even possessing firearms or other self-defense tools. On the surface, talking about your security measures might seem reasonable or even responsible. People might mention their alarm system in a neighborhood watch meeting, show off their new smart lock on social media, or discuss their firearm ownership in online groups related to self-defense. The intention might be to share tips, express pride in protecting their home, or simply engage in conversation. However, revealing these details, particularly to a wide audience or casual acquaintances, is equivalent to giving potential intruders a guided tour of your defenses, or your lack thereof. If you boast about having a state-of-the-art alarm system, you're not just impressing people, you're informing criminals about the specific technology they need to research how to bypass. You're also signaling that your home contains possessions valuable enough to warrant such protection, making it a potentially lucrative target. Conversely, if you casually mention that you don't have an alarm system, that your neighborhood is safe enough that you don't need one, or that you often leave a certain door unlocked when you're just running a quick errand, you are broadcasting vulnerability. You are telling opportunistic individuals precisely where the easiest entry points are. The same applies to discussing weapons. While many believe that announcing firearm ownership acts as a deterrent, this can be a double-edged sword. It might deter some, but it also informs others where they might find a valuable weapon to steal, or worse, arms someone planning a confrontation with the knowledge of what they might face, allowing them to plan accordingly. Simply knowing that someone has a gun, without details of when or how they carry or store it, provides an advantage to an aggressor seeking to disarm or surprise them. The psychological motivation for sharing security details is often tied to a desire for reassurance or a display of preparedness. We want others to know we are responsible homeowners or individuals capable of self-protection. This craving for acknowledgement or approval, while understandable, can blind us to the strategic disadvantage it creates. We gain a fleeting sense of validation at the cost of providing intelligence to potential adversaries. Stoicism calls for a focus on effectiveness and prudence rather than outward show. The Stoics understood that true strength is often quiet and unassuming. Seneca, for example, valued the security that comes from inner tranquility and being content with little, making one a less attractive target for avarice. He would likely view boasting about physical security measures as a form of anxiety-driven display rooted in attachment to possessions rather than a calm reliance on one's own reasoned precautions. Epictetus's emphasis on controlling our judgments is relevant here. We might judge that showing off our security system makes us feel safer because it garners praise, but the Stoic would challenge this judgment. True safety comes from the effective, quiet implementation of measures, not from the public performance of having them. Our feeling of security should stem from the knowledge of our preparedness, not from external validation of that preparedness. Applying Stoic principles means practicing strategic silence about your defenses, your security system, your reinforced doors, your dog's protective nature, the location of your safe, whether or not you own a weapon. These are operational details. They are part of your protective strategy. You wouldn't share your military battle plan with the enemy. Similarly, you should not share your personal security blueprint with the general public. The effectiveness of many security measures lies in their unknown presence or unknown capabilities. The practical advice is straightforward. Discuss your security measures only with individuals who have a genuine need to know and whom you trust implicitly, e.g., family members living with you, perhaps a very close neighbor in specific circumstances, installers, or law enforcement if necessary. Avoid mentioning these details in casual conversation, on social media, or in online forums. If someone asks, a simple non-committal answer like, "We've taken steps to ensure our home is secure," is sufficient. Focus on implementing effective, layered security measures quietly rather than performing them for an audience. Your home should be a fortress, not a museum exhibit showcasing your defenses. The strongest fortresses are those whose internal workings and full capabilities are unknown to potential attackers. Cultivate the Stoic strength to be secure without needing applause for it. Let your peace of mind come from your quiet preparedness, not from public acknowledgement of it. 4. Be extremely cautious about revealing personal or family weaknesses. Beyond tangible assets and physical locations, there exists a more subtle yet incredibly dangerous category of information: your personal vulnerabilities and those of your family. This includes details about health struggles, past traumas, emotional insecurities, phobias, significant losses, family dynamics like an elderly parent living alone or a child's predictable schedule, or any aspect of your life that exposes an area where you or loved ones could be psychologically or physically exploited. The risk here is less about random criminal opportunity and more about targeted manipulation and abuse. Individuals who seek to control, extort, or harm others often look for leverage. Your vulnerabilities are that leverage. Someone who knows you have a deep-seated fear of public speaking might use that knowledge to pressure you. A person aware of a past trauma could subtly or not so subtly bring it up to destabilize you. Someone who learns you are the sole caregiver for an infirm relative knows your movements may be predictable and your emotional reserves potentially low. Details about a child's specific after-school activities provide a potential point of access or disruption. The desire to share personal struggles is deeply ingrained in the human need for connection, empathy, and support. We are often told that vulnerability builds intimacy, and in trusted relationships this can be true. Sharing pain or weakness can foster genuine bonds. However, the modern digital landscape and even many casual social settings are not trusted relationships. They are public or semi-public spaces where your shared vulnerability can be cataloged and potentially weaponized by those who are not empathetic but calculating. Posting about a debilitating illness, detailing a difficult divorce online, or discussing a family member's specific disability or dependence with casual acquaintances. These acts, often born from a desire for support or understanding, can inadvertently highlight areas where you or your loved ones are less resilient, less independent, or less guarded. These details provide a roadmap for someone looking to identify targets for scams, preying on loneliness or financial difficulty after loss, manipulation, exploiting emotional triggers, or even direct harm, targeting someone known to be physically frail or in a predictable vulnerable state. The psychological trap here is the conflation of authentic connection with public disclosure. We crave the "I understand" or "I've been through that too" response, and in the absence of deep, trusted relationships, we seek it from a wider audience. This external seeking for validation or solace for our internal pain can lead us to expose the very areas that require careful private healing and protection. Stoicism provides a framework for navigating personal suffering and vulnerability with strength and discernment. Stoics did not deny pain or difficulty, but they emphasized the importance of managing their internal response and being measured in their external expressions. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control external events, like illness, loss, or trauma, we can control our judgments about them and our reactions to them. Processing hardship is an internal, virtuous endeavor. The Stoic approach to vulnerability is not to suppress emotion or deny reality, but to handle sensitive matters with prudence and justice. Justice in the sense of treating both yourself and others rightly. Sharing deep vulnerabilities requires careful consideration of the audience. As Chrysippus advised, speaking only to those who are suited to hear it implies a rigorous selection process based on trust, character, and the genuine potential for constructive support, not just a desire for an audience. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages building inner resilience. While acknowledging suffering, the focus is on cultivating virtues like fortitude and wisdom to navigate it. Excessive public focus on one's weaknesses, particularly in a way that invites pity or attention without leading to genuine healing or problem solving, could be seen by a Stoic as potentially hindering the internal work necessary for overcoming adversity. The practical application is to be highly selective about who you share your deepest struggles or family vulnerabilities with. Limit these conversations to a very small circle of genuinely trusted confidants, family members who need to know, or qualified professionals, therapists, doctors, counselors. Avoid detailing these sensitive issues on social media, in large group settings, or with people you do not know intimately and whose character you cannot vouch for. If you seek support online, look for private, moderated groups specifically designed for sensitive topics, and even then, be cautious about the level of identifying detail you provide. Recognize the difference between healthy processing or seeking help and broadcasting vulnerability to an indiscriminate audience. Your deepest challenges and family circumstances are not entertainment or fodder for casual conversation. They are sacred areas requiring protection. Cultivating the Stoic discipline of measured disclosure ensures that your moments of vulnerability remain opportunities for genuine connection and healing, not invitations for exploitation. Your strength is not diminished by protecting your softest spots. It is amplified by the wisdom you exercise in doing so. 5. Be extremely vigilant about information that could compromise your digital identity. In the 21st century, your identity exists not just in the physical world, but across a vast digital landscape. Email accounts, social media profiles, online banking, shopping websites, government portals, each requires authentication, often relying on combinations of passwords, usernames, and crucially, personal information used for verification or security questions. The 5th critical secret to keep protected is any detail that could be used to compromise this digital identity. This category is perhaps the most insidious, precisely because the information seems so innocuous in isolation. Your mother's maiden name, the name of your first pet, the street you grew up on, the make of your first car, the name of your high school, your date of birth, even just the day and month, your favorite color, your favorite band. These are common security questions or details casually shared in conversation, online quizzes, or Throwback Thursday posts. Individually, they seem harmless. Collectively, and in the hands of someone patient and malicious, they are the keys to your digital kingdom. Identity thieves and cybercriminals are skilled at piecing together this information from public or semi-public sources. Your social media profile might list your birthday. An old post might mention your hometown. A nostalgic share might reveal your first car. A genealogical hobby discussed online might expose family names. Combining these seemingly unrelated details allows attackers to bypass security questions, reset passwords, and gain access to your most sensitive accounts, email, banking, social security information. Once they have control of your email, they can often gain access to almost everything else by using forgot password functions. The psychological driver here is similar to others we've discussed, a desire for connection through shared experiences, nostalgia, or simply participating in online trends like quizzes or surveys. We don't perceive these details as sensitive because they feel personal and specific to us, failing to realize how predictable or easily researched they can be. We are conditioned to share personal narratives, and these details are woven into those narratives. The danger lies in the context of mass digital information gathering. What feels like a harmless anecdote to you is data to someone else. Stoicism again offers a guiding principle. Focus on what you control and exercise prudence and wisdom in your judgments and actions. While you cannot control the existence of cyber threats or the data-hungry nature of the Internet, you can control the information you willingly provide about yourself. Marcus Aurelius' emphasis on clear, rational thinking and avoiding unnecessary entanglements applies powerfully to our digital lives. Is sharing the name of your first pet truly necessary for living a virtuous or fulfilling life? Does participating in that quiz to find your spirit animal based on your high school mascot align with the goal of protecting your digital security? The Stoic practice of mindfulness extends to our online presence. Before sharing any piece of personal information, whether in a post, a response to a question, or filling out a seemingly fun quiz, pause and ask, could this information be used to identify me, verify my identity, or answer a security question? Is the fleeting pleasure or connection gained from sharing this worth the potential long-term risk? This conscious, reasoned evaluation replaces impulsive sharing with deliberate action. Furthermore, the Stoic value of self-sufficiency means not depending on external systems, like flawed security questions based on public info, for your primary security. Your most reliable defense is your own informed behavior and proactive steps. Practically, this means auditing your online footprint and removing information that could be used against you. Be incredibly selective about the personal details you include on public profiles. Avoid online quizzes and games that ask for information often used in security questions. When setting up security questions for important accounts, do not use real answers if the question is based on easily discoverable information. Instead, invent answers that are memorable to you but bear no relation to the actual question. E.g., if asked for your mother's maiden name, enter a random word you'll remember, like elephant. Use unique, strong passwords for different accounts, ideally managed with a password manager. Enable two-factor authentication wherever possible. Be wary of unsolicited emails or messages asking you to verify personal information. Legitimate organizations rarely do this without you initiating contact. Your digital identity is increasingly intertwined with your real-world security and stability. Protecting it requires conscious effort and a shift away from the default mode of effortless sharing. Embrace the Stoic discipline of intentionality. Every piece of information you withhold from the public domain is like reinforcing a digital lock. By guarding these seemingly small details, you make it exponentially harder for malicious actors to impersonate you and wreak havoc in your life. Your most crucial digital defense isn't complicated software. It's your own wise discretion. Conclusion: we've explored 5 vital areas where discretion isn't just polite. It's a critical component of personal safety in the modern world. Guarding your financial status, keeping your real-time location private, maintaining silence about your security measures, being cautious about revealing personal vulnerabilities, and protecting information that could compromise your digital identity, these aren't steps born of fear, but of wisdom and self-possession. The current environment encourages, even demands, that we live publicly. The pressure to share, to be constantly visible, to chase external validation through likes and attention is immense. It requires significant mental fortitude to resist this current. This is where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers not just guidance, but a lifeline. The Stoics understood that true security and peace of mind come from within. They knew that focusing on what is outside our control, the opinions of others, external events, the inherent unpredictability of the world, leads to anxiety and vulnerability. Instead, they urged us to focus our energy and discipline on what is truly ours: our judgments, our impulses, our desires, and our aversions. Applying Stoicism to the age of oversharing means recognizing that your impulse to broadcast personal information is often an external dependency, a craving for validation, connection, or recognition that lies outside your inner citadel. By cultivating the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, treating yourself and your information with due care, courage to resist social pressure to overshare, and temperance, moderation in what you reveal, you build an inner resilience that makes you less susceptible to the external pressures that lead to dangerous disclosures. Privacy is not a relic of the past. It is a vital shield in the present. It is the space you create around yourself, your life, and your information that is not accessible to the prying eyes of the careless, the curious, or the criminal. It is an act of self-respect and self-preservation. By being deliberate about what you share and why, by practicing the Stoic art of focusing on what you control, your own actions and words, you transform yourself from a potential target into a secure, intentional individual. You don't have to announce your every move, detail your every possession, or air your every struggle to live a full, meaningful life. In fact, often the most meaningful aspects of life are those held closest, shared with the fewest. Embrace the power of silence, the strength of discretion, and the freedom that comes from not needing external validation to feel secure or successful. Apply the timeless wisdom of the Stoics to the modern challenge of information security. Build your inner fortress, Control your external disclosures, and in doing so, cultivate not just safety, but profound inner peace. Your life is your most valuable asset. Guard the details of it fiercely. Be mindful, be intentional, be private, be stoic. If this deeper dive into the intersection of safety, privacy, and Stoic philosophy resonated with you, please let me know by hitting the like button. Share this video with friends and family who need to hear this message. And if you're committed to living a more deliberate, secure, and stoic life in the modern world, subscribe to the channel for more insights. Thank you for watching. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and cultivate your inner strength.